welcome to Kevin and Brian's Horror Bulletin podcast, recorded live from the vampire's tomb. Every week we'll cover the latest news, shorts, a Universal Studios movie, an older classic, and a new movie. So this week we watched the Universal Studios Mummy from 1932, a movie called The Cabin in the Woods from 2011, and a new one called The Endless that was 2017.
Turn up the volume and lean in close, cause here we go. First up, the news. You saw that one movie, late at night, 30 years ago, that had a giant octopus attacking people, and it had something to do with a monster being attracted to radio, but you can't remember the name of it, no matter how hard you try.
I remember that movie.
I've been there. Well, we got the site for you. It's called What Is My Movie? It's at whatismymovie.com.
Very logical
and
website name.
You go there, you can enter Giant Octopus Radio, and you'll find out that it was Tentacles from 1977 as the first suggestion. There was some movie about people being ground up into cat food. Type in cat food people, and it brings up the Corpse Grinders as a top match. With the general title, actor, or director-based searches, it's great. It comes up with everything.
It was
not just horror movies.
Impressive, yeah. I tried to, there was one movie that I eventually had figured it out from other sources, but there was a movie I saw long ago. They were trying to kill a vampire and they couldn't kill him, and they were hanging him and they were staking him, and what ended up killing him was a steel cross. And all I had to do in this website was do vampire steel cross.
What was it?
Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter.
Oh.
It comes right up for these. It's amazing the little information you can give it.
Somebody went through and tagged all the movies.
The things, all the obscure references in all these movies, not just horror movies, all kinds of movies, every movie. Yeah, it's really impressive. So it's a fun site to play around with.
Whatismymovie.com.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, the movie you didn't know you needed has become a reality. Velocipaster. After a devastating family tragedy, a priest travels to China to find deeper spirituality, but instead is endowed with an ancient ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first, he's horrified by his newfound superpower, but a local prostitute convinces him to use his newfound gift to fight evil and ninjas. He's a man of the claw, as the poster puts it. What started out as a trailer and an idea will make its premiere at midnight at the Texas Frightmare Weekend on May 3rd. Hopefully it'll be available more widely after that. And you should check out the trailer that we've got linked in the show notes.
It's awesome.
It's something.
I really want to see this movie. I hope it becomes available on DVD or online or something. Yeah, gotta find this one.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is some other weirdness that's not strictly horror, but it's nightmare fuel.
It's nightmarish.
BirthDeathMovies.com has alerted us all to a fine piece of work called True Detective Pikachu.
Pika.
What they did was they took the first season of True Detective, reimagined it. Matthew McConaughey's character is Pikachu. They're human-sized, and it's a world where the Pikachu creatures are human-sized, and it's dark and gritty, and they're fighting crime. Of course, Ash is Pikachu's partner, so they're talking about the criminals, and Ash looks out the window and says, yeah, we gotta catch them all.
If you're into furries, check this out.
If you like Pokemon Go Plus, Pokemon Go, or Pokemon, True Detective. Hopefully you're a fan of both of them like I am, and it's hilarious and weird and and funny and disturbing and horrifying. It's horrifying. So it is.
Proving that print is not dead, British-based Dark Side magazine has hit its 200th issue this month, celebrating 29 years in the business of bringing horror news, interviews, and history with a jam-packed 100-page edition covering The Exorcist, Dick Miller, Jaws, An American Werewolf in London, and much more. Available with shipping worldwide as a hard copy or in digital format, the magazine of the macabre and fantastic is going strong. Check out their website for more information and available options, as well as merchandise and some interesting tidbits. TheDarkSideMagazine.com.
Mm-hmm. It looks good.
It does, yeah.
Yeah,
Have to
yeah.
pick that up.
Yeah.
What's
And
last?
if you want to see some good movies without having to pay for them or download them from questionable sources, iHorror.com has a weekly feature that they call the Tightwad Terror Tuesday. It's updated weekly with free movies online. And they'll give you the link, and they're on the up and up that you can watch them. This last week they had The Rage, Carrie 2, as well as the thrillers Let the Corpses Tan and The Cottage, and Blade Runner is out there for free on a website for viewing. So it's worth checking out every week, and they have links to their old weekly posts. Those will probably, the movie links will probably get more out of date as time passes, but you can check out their previous weeks that they've done too.
Alrighty.
What a deal.
Yeah, it sounds neat. And this week, our classic Universal horror story is The Mummy from 1932.
The Mummy. The vampire Dracula mummy. No, wait.
We did
Similarities.
Phantom of the Opera, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Dracula, Frankenstein. What was last week?
Murders of the
Rue Morgue, and now The Mummy. So we're well into it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was directed by Carl Freund, written by Nina Wilcox Putnam, and stars Boris Karloff, top billing this time, not uncredited like in Frankenstein.
He's not unknown. And all they had to do for the publication, Frankenstein did so well, and he was so renowned for that, all they had to do was say Boris Karloff, The Mummy. That was the extent, and that drew crowds.
Big star after 1 year.
Yeah, big deal.
So Boris Karloff, Zita Johann, and David Manners, 1 hour, 13 minutes. Say what you want about these old movies, they're not long.
No.
They don't drag out.
They get to the point. Yeah.
Well, this time out we open up in a museum in 1921. They've dug up a mummy, but he's a little different. His name was Imhotep, and he was buried alive, probably for the crime of sacrilege. He also comes with a golden chest that contains a cursed box.
Mm-hmm.
The occult expert, who just happens to be there, warns him not to open it, but one guy does it anyway.
But of course he does.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do in horror movies.
Nobody ever listens to
Don't
the
open
occult
that.
experts.
It's cursed. Okay.
And it contains the Scroll of Thoth, which supposedly has the power to raise the dead. As the junior archaeologist reads the scroll, the mummy wakes up and walks away, and the man goes mad.
Mm-hmm.
He's really crazy.
Yeah, nobody believes.
Maybe a little overacting.
They think
there.
just, somebody stole the mummy.
Yeah, because he just got up and walked away. He doesn't fly.
Yeah.
And then we time skip up to 1932. 11 years pass. A couple more archaeologists, one of them the son of the first archaeologist, are lamenting their lack of luck finding anything. Just then, there's a knock at the door. Hey, and guess who it is? It's Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
It's a tall man in a fez.
Right.
He tells them where to dig, and they find the tomb of an ancient princess.
Because he's got inside information.
He was
there. Yeah.
He doesn't tell them that. He's just a mysterious tall man in a fez.
Well, he's taken all his bandages and everything off, and he's dressed in normal clothes. He still looks kind of awful. He looks
like a wrinkly old man. He does
really
not really look like
wrinkly,
a
though.
mummy, though.
Yeah, but
Kind of dried out.
really dried up and old.
It's interesting makeup.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So anyway, they dig up the stuff, and all the treasure winds up in the British Museum. As the tall man recites the magic words, the archaeologist's girlfriend, Helen, goes into a trance and tries to get to him. But the museum is locked and she can't get in.
And this was poor planning on his part, because he's doing this chant summoning. Well, what the gist of it is his princess girlfriend from way back has been reincarnated through the years over and over and over, and he needs to summon her to him in her current reincarnation. So
You'd think he'd have left the door unlocked.
He's in he locked, well, he's in the locked museum and summons her and she can't get in.
Well, anyway,
bad planning.
Wurmple, the archaeologist, rescues her. Next day, they find a dead guard and the scroll. It turns out Helen is the reincarnation of Imhotep's dead lover. And the rest of the film revolves around the tall man in the fez trying to reincarnate his dead princess.
Trying to bring back his girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's basically the idea of the story. I won't tell you how it ends.
Yeah. Well, basically what happened was he was in love with her at the time, and it was a forbidden love, and he was sentenced to death for that. Oh, she died first.
She died first, and he got caught trying to bring her back.
Reading that Toth scroll trying to reanimate her. Yeah, and that was forbidden. Yeah, that's what got him executed. And so then she got reincarnated, but he had to come back the long way. Yeah,
the long
it's complicated.
Way, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this film is quite different from the later Mummy movies. The Mummy, unlike Dracula or Frankenstein, was an original story, not based on a book. And it's also different than the Mummy movies that came later, even the ones from Universal. Other than the shambling, towel-wrapped mummy that we're used to seeing, Imhotep here is more of an ancient wizard than a rotting mummy.
And that's
he gets
not what I
one
was
scene
expecting.
as a dead man. Yeah, mummy, basically.
Yeah, I always had pictured, I'd never seen this, and I'd always pictured like Frankenstein, like shuffling around brainless, and
we'll be seeing that guy in a couple weeks.
Yeah, just a mindless monster. And this one he's not.
Yeah, this is Boris Karloff. This is not just a man in a mummy suit.
Yeah.
So anyway, other than the shambling mummy in the very first scene, he's Boris Karloff throughout. Story-wise, it's got a lot more in common with the Brendan Fraser movies than the later Mummy movies.
Yeah,
it's the wizard trying to bring back his girlfriend, and a lot of this stuff in the past takes place.
Yeah,
you can see where they got that
been
story.
buried alive. Yeah, and real similarities to Dracula.
Oh, really similarities. It felt like halfway through they were doing the same plot as Dracula.
They kind of were. And
then
the mummy
noticed,
has hypnotic, this hypnotic gaze that she falls into his power, and he keeps drawing her to him like Dracula did. And we kept thinking the guy kept reminding us of Van Helsing a lot.
There's a reason for that.
It was the same actor.
The guy who played Van Helsing in Dracula played the old doctor, Dr. Mueller, in this one. And he's a foreign expert on the occult who happens to recognize what the villain is, confronts the villain, has an arguing match with the villain, and eventually defeats the villain in both movies.
It's real similarities.
Yeah.
The beats of the story are the same, and yeah.
Somebody had a real big success with Dracula and chose the laziest way possible to do it again.
Yeah, how could we do this again? Well, let's literally do it again.
But if you weren't watching them like 2 weeks in a row, you'd probably never notice.
Yeah. But we really did, because it had been so recent. Yeah.
Condition of the movie, I thought this was in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
the
very
sound
good
was
quality.
good. The video was good.
Yeah.
Again, it's
Lighting.
not too long and boring.
Lighting and effects all decent. Yeah.
I would recommend this one, definitely.
Yeah, I would too.
Over some of the other ones that we've seen already.
Definitely over Murders of the Rue Morgue. But yeah, this was good. Yeah, thumbs up.
Okay. All right, and then we watched our drive-in special this week.
Which was The Cabin in the Woods.
From 2011.
And I'd seen this before.
I'd seen this before.
I enjoyed it even more the second time around, knowing what was going on.
Yeah, I think that was one of the points, one of the reasons we wanted to watch it again. Because this is one of those movies, after you know what it's about, it's even better. So if you've seen this before, watch it again. It's worth it.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Directed by Drew Goddard, written by Joss Whedon, and there's a lot of characters in it from Angel and Buffy, and I didn't see anybody from Firefly.
Actors. Yeah.
But stars Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, and Anna Hutchinson, 1 hour, 35 minutes.
Really good movie. Really good. Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but it's not a comedy.
It's a dark comedy, if you call it a comedy. But it does have a lot of humor in it, especially the industrial. And that's what's confusing. And was it Josh who said that, or the writer guy? deliberately wanted to confuse people who were coming in late, thinking they were in the wrong movie.
Who are these guys?
Because it's in this big industrial office complex. And the guys are just bantering about their personal life while they're at work. And like, what does this have to do with the cabin in the woods?
It's not your typical Bruce Campbell movie.
Yeah.
We begin in a well-lit shop with a couple of guys who are walking through an office building. They're whining about their wives and other boring stuff. Another worker comes over and warns them that the Swedes aren't doing their job and that the two need to pick up the slack and not screw it up this time.
And it's up to them and the Japanese.
They laugh and tell her it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, we got 100% success rate.
But then...
Except for that screw up in 98 when but that wasn't really our fault. That was the chem department. And you don't know what they're talking about at this point.
And you've only seen this twice.
Well,
okay, but yeah,
stuck.
the point is this is just office talk between a couple of boring-looking people, and you don't know what this has to do with anything.
And you don't know what their industry is or what they're producing or what the point is.
So then the scene shifts to a bunch of college kids getting ready for a weekend at the lake. It's exactly what you'd expect in this kind of movie.
Very stereotypical.
There's a jock, a stoner, a smart girl, and a blonde, and a normal guy. Probably get some email over that phrase.
Smart guy.
The smart girl and a blonde.
Yeah.
They all pile into a van and head out to the cabin in the woods. The two nerdy guys from before now enter a high security area. They seem to be working on something like a defense project or something really serious.
Very high tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of big screens
Star Trek
and
control
computers
room.
and yeah.
So the kids stop at a greasy. The kids stop at a creepy gas station on the way, and the attendant is a rude old guy. As they continue their journey, a hawk flies by, gliding on a current of air, soaring majestically, until it crashes into what looks like the wall of the Star Trek holodeck.
Yeah. And you're still,
Bam!
and now you're really wondering
You get the
what
flickers
the
of
heck.
whatever that is.
Yeah, and they go through a tunnel to get to the wooded area where the cabin is, and it's a horrible rundown. Well, not horrible, but horrible on the outside. It looks kind of creepy, and it's nice on the inside.
It's a
Kind of
cabin in
hunting.
the woods.
It's a cabin in the woods. Yeah, big and yeah.
Okay, so the whole industrial complex is betting on something. They explain to the new security guard that everything here is part of a system, and there's a lot more going on than it appears.
And there
Cut
is.
back, and the teens find themselves in the basement of the house, and it's full of weird objects, all of which will trigger some kind of a monster attack. We know how these things work. We've seen the movies before.
Mm-hmm.
As they choose the deranged redneck zombie family, things start going badly for them. Okay, no spoilers.
No spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah, this is all like the first half hour of the movie. It's all kind of still set up.
And it goes back and forth between the kids in the cabin and the guys at the industrial complex. And you gradually learn what that's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
It is. Yeah. It's not a typical slasher, cabin in the woods horror movie. It's really good.
Overall, this is one of the most original horror movies ever.
Mm-hmm.
It plays with the tropes in the way Scream did a long time ago, but managed to do it in a new and completely unexpected, over-the-top way.
Yes. I agree. I love it.
Maybe 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of a 10.
I'd give it.
This is one of
I'd
the
give it a
best
10 out of
horror
10.
movies
Mm-hmm.
of recent times.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and before we continue, we've got a message for you. 13 short tales of terror, ranging from classic tales of supernatural revenge to serial-killing clowns, alien menaces, and demons. Even death incarnate makes an appearance. If you enjoyed collections of short horror fiction when you were young, you'll enjoy these more grown-up tales. Definitely not for children. Inside, you'll find When the Clown Comes Calling, Menace in the Mural, Delivering the Demon, Silent Flight, Prisoner 2, Druid on My Doorstep, Dreamcatcher, How I Killed Grandma, or What I Did Over Summer Break, You'll Die Alone, The Hypnotist, The Secret, as well as the all-new Terror on the Appalachian Trail, written exclusively for this collection. Also included is the first installment in the Necropolitan Police series, The Ghoul. Written by Brian Schell, available at Amazon and wherever good books are sold. All right,
Now we're
and
back.
did we watch a short film?
We
watched
did.
a short film.
It was, well...
It was kind of short.
I think my note on that, what did I write? It's short. Yes, it was short and weird. It's called Invaders. It's a short, very short, through
4.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm, on YouTube.
A couple of robbers sit in the car and debate their methodology.
Has a wonderful autumn vibe. Fall,
It's
maybe
it's
early
clearly
winter.
a thing. I think it's Thanksgiving.
I think it's supposed to be Thanksgiving, yeah.
So these two guys are sitting in the car debating how they're going to rob this family that they're looking at from the car.
Very amateur.
And they put on these creepy pilgrim masks. One stabs the other accidentally, but that only makes him mad.
It's only a flesh wound.
It's only a flesh wound.
Yeah.
They go up to the door, and they ring the bell.
Ding dong, with axes in hand, ready to rob this family.
Pilgrims with axes.
And we're not going to tell you what
They
happens.
ring the
from
doorbell,
there.
and things don't go as planned. 4.5 minutes. Check it out. Link in the show notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird and funny and, short and,
Speaking of weird
Good effects.
and funny and short, our main movie this week is The Endless from 2018.
Well, it was weird. It wasn't very funny.
It's not funny and it's not short.
Yeah, but it was
Directed
good.
by Aaron Moorhead, written by Justin Benson, and stars Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson, and also Kelly Hernandez.
As Aaron and Justin. Did you notice they used their
Yes,
own names
yes,
and their
so
own
much easier that
first
way.
names in the
It
as brothers.
costs less if you use your real names.
They play brothers in the movie.
They do.
Yeah. So,
Aaron receives a videotape in the mail. On the tape, a girl talks about looking forward to the ascension. Justin reminds Aaron that they left the group because it was a UFO death cult, and they were all just about ready to commit mass suicide.
but it's been 10 years, and apparently they didn't do that.
Yeah.
They left, and the cult is still going strong.
They left, went to the newspapers, told the whole story about the UFO death cult, and the UFO death cult got a lot of bad press because of it.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of newspaper clipping and a little bit of the newscast at the time. I guess it was really played up that two local men escape with their lives and give the horrible secrets.
Except they're not adjusting well.
Yeah.
They're both very unhappy and going through cult deprogramming treatments. Aaron wants to go back, even just for a visit. Finally, after much badgering, Justin agrees to go, but just for one day and one night. They're welcomed back, and everyone seems very nice, very active, very healthy, and not particularly cult-like at all.
And this is the point where it made me say, WTF, because this isn't it wasn't very cult-like at all. It was like a summer camp.
The headline
It was
said they
beautiful.
escaped from the cult.
And it was just a...
Escaped kind of indicates,
Camp?
they weren't
Yeah.
allowed to leave, and they go there and it's like summer camp. It's all these adults doing archery and riding bicycles and jogging and fishing and fun stuff.
Yeah, nothing abnormal.
3 days later, they're still considering staying. Then they find something strange at the bottom of the lake.
Of course things start getting strange.
Was everything a lie? Was anything a lie? Is the lunatic talking about time loops as crazy as he sounds? Why are there 3 moons?
So many questions.
Yeah.
A lot of them are answered.
Some of them are answered.
Some of them are answered. Some are not.
Some have a very strange answer.
Yeah.
The cinematography and scenery are excellent. The acting is good, and the premise is interesting.
For a low-budget movie, they did a really nice job.
The premise is interesting. The plot, however, is not. For the first hour and 20 minutes, almost nothing happens.
Too slow.
It just takes
Should've
way
built
too long
faster.
to get to something interesting.
It's too normal and too calm and too ordinary.
It does get interesting in the last half hour, but
45 minutes.
it was a lot of work getting there.
It took a while to get there. Once it did, I thought it was worth it. Yeah. Is religion real? Is
Skip the first hour.
no. The first
I
hour
told you the
builds.
setup. Skip the first hour.
No. Watch it all. watch it all.
4 out of 10.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10, at least.
I'd give it a 9 out of 10 on the boring scale.
7.5.
I think we finally found one to disagree on.
I thought it was thought-provoking, and okay, a slow build at the beginning.
It was thought-provoking. I'm like, how much longer could this be?
Because that's what you were thinking.
Look, clouds. Yeah, it was thought-provoking.
Okay, I liked
I
it.
mock you and your movie.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. But
Did you hear that?
But we can't what?
It's,
They're coming back, aren't they?
The sun must be coming up.
Okay. They want
The
their tune
vampires
back.
are starting to shuffle back in for the day, and we need to get going so they can get their sleep. But wake up, vampires. We forgot to tell you about our Patreon.
We have a Patreon.
www.patreon.com/horrorbulletin, where there's reward tiers for you. Become a producer, become an executive producer, or get free books. Free stuff. It's not free if you're a patron.
And if we get $1 million in pledges, I
ahead.
swear that I will swim in a kiddie pool.
Kiddie pool
my
full of $1
Speedos.
bills. He will swim in the kiddie pool Scrooge McDuck style on YouTube for your amusement. $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give less than $1 million, we got other things lined up for you. Mm-hmm. Patreon.com/horrorbulletin, or go to horrorbulletin.com and find the donate link. You can just give us money with the donate link, or you can Patreon us monthly, or however you want to do it. There's lots of options.
Us?
Patreonate.
Patreonize.
Patriotism.
Yeah.
It's weird. Okay, so anyway, thanks for joining us. Stop in during the week at horrorbulletin.com for news and horror updates. To comment on this podcast, nobody ever comments. Leave some comments on YouTube,
We
people.
love comment. We would love comments if we had
Or
any
if you're
comments.
listening to the audio show, leave a review on iTunes.
Yeah, reviews are nice.
Reviews are really nice. They let people know that, hey, people listening to us. Mm-hmm. Check out our Twitter feed at Horror Bulletin. And I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.